Hi guys, welcome to ToughTalks, the only channel dedicated to talking about controversial topics. Topics can range anywhere from gaming right the way through to politics, so there's always going to be something interesting happening here every video. Today, I want to talk about esports and how it can have an effect on everyone's life. Let me take it back to something that might be familiar to a lot of people. 2002, Super Smash Bros. Melee has just released. You're at your best friend's house, GameCube, 5 of yous. You're having a tournament. It comes down to a 1 versus 1. You versus your friend. Winner gets all the glory, all the bragging rights. You want to win, not for anything other than the sole feeling of being the victor. Tension builds as the fight goes on. Both you and your friend want to win. Your other friend sitting in the back, building hype, shouting at every possible hit, every possible opportunity that you could take or your friend could take to win the fight. Then all of a sudden, just as quick as it started, you win. No one else is there to see it but you and 4 of your friends. But that's all that you need, because you go into school for the next week and brag about how you're the best Smash Bros. Melee player out of everyone. Regardless of what game it was you played when you were younger, I think everyone's had this situation. Whether it's Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, even Halo. You all had those competitions between yourself and your friends, and everyone wanted to win just as bad as the next. Now let's mix it up a bit. Take it up to 2019. You're sitting in front of a computer, Fortnite on the screen. But instead, this time, it's not just your 5 friends behind you. It's 50,000 people sitting in a stadium, an arena, watching you compete against 50 to 100 other people. How would that make you feel? Would the pressure get to you? Would the nerves get to you? Of course it would. It would get to me too. That's not the only difference. There's also $3 million on the line. If you win, you become a millionaire. In a matter of minutes, you can be a millionaire. One game of Fortnite could change your life forever. $3 million. This might sound all a little bit unreal. However, this is the exact situation that Kyle Booga Giersdorf found himself in at the Fortnite 2019 World Cup. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the sort of situation that you're just going to fall into. You're not going to turn up and play Fortnite at some random gaming convention and win $3 million. It doesn't happen. Kyle Booga Giersdorf worked his ass off and he built up the credit and he got there. I guess my point is that gaming, something that has been heavily criticised over the past 20 years, how it's lazy and how it, gives bad habits. I really feel that gaming is something that's evolved and it can change lives, and I feel that Booga's example here is great for that. It shows exactly how it can change someone's life. What I find really interesting about this entire scenario is that the rest of the media, TV, news, they still almost make fun of esports as if it's, not a big deal, as if it's not something that should be taken seriously. A video that I feel that shows this off greatly is a video by a YouTuber named Trama, entitled The Media Learning of Esports. Within this video, there's various news anchors hearing from their colleagues about esports, about how it's a growing trend and how it's something that people can make money of. And most of the people within this video, most of the anchors within this video have absolutely zero clue how this works. They laugh at it. It's something that they don't consider as a serious job or a serious career opportunity.
Zero knowledge of the fact that this exists.
You didn't know there were cyber athletes?
My hand to God, I didn't know there were but my issue is it's still not a sport.
Well,
it's
again,
a game. You follow me what I'm saying?
I feel that this comes in perfectly with my first subsection. Should esports be classed as a real sport? By the definition of sport that Google gives, it states an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Because the words physical exertion are used within this description, many people rule out esports. Of course, there's not as much physical exertion in, playing CSGO or League of Legends as there, necessarily is in playing basketball or football. However, I would argue mentally and emotionally it is as draining as any other physical sport. Esports athletes still need to put in numerous hours, days, years into honing their skills and becoming the best at their ability. So when people turn around and say that, it's just playing a video game, yeah, it might just be a video game to some people, play it casually, but to these people it's their life, it's their livelihood, it's how they make money, it's how they survive. So if we take the part of physical exertion in that definition out, I feel that esports fits quite nicely into the sports definition. The use of skill, and whether it's an individual or team, goes pretty nicely, and the use of furthers entertainment, I think that again fits it very well. I know a lot of esports fans, League of Legends, CSGO, Call of Duty. A lot of my friends are fans. So why can't it be a sport? Is it just the stigma behind it? Is it this all gamers are fat nerds that sit in their parents' basement? Is this the cliche that we're going by? Is this the reason why we can't, call gaming a sport? The next area that I want to touch on is talking all about the people that actually watch esports. The people that make esports what it is. The ones that go to these competitions, that watch live in the arenas and the stadiums, the ones that cheer, and the ones that support all the teams by buying the merch. So I'm going to talk about who actually watches esports. My experience with esports dates back to 2012 when the Call of Duty World Championships took place. It was Team Envious versus Frico Impact, and to me it was probably one of the most exciting things I've ever watched. Being a huge fan of Call of Duty at the time, seeing it in such a competitive light on such a big stage with a lot of people watching it, really excited me and it really drew me in. It was from this point onwards that I really classed myself as an esports fan. I watched every Call of Duty tournament from probably 2013 right the way through to 2016. I was a huge fan. Obviously I knew other games existed in the esports universe, but I never really delved into them. It wasn't until 2015 when I picked up CSGO with a group of my friends that I realised that esports was a much bigger thing than just Call of Duty, and it stretched far and wide. One thing that did stand out to me, regardless of what the game was just how dedicated the fans were. Every tournament I would watch, fans would be there chanting, the stadiums would be full, the arenas would be packed. The atmosphere just never seemed to die out, regardless of the esport. You could be watching the most boring game of League of Legends in the entire world, and the fans are still going to be there cheating on their team. It's amazing. Esports is without a doubt one of the fastest growing media formats in the world. A great way of showcasing this is by using a couple of statistics from Dota 2's TI. TI 2018 seen at the final having a record number of 1.21 million people watching it, whereas 2019, only a year later, had 1.97, an increase of about 0.7 million, 700,000 people. That's incredible. That's a massive increase in just 1 year. That just shows how popular the game is becoming. However, we'll find large numbers like this isn't just a one-off. It's, it happens all over the esports industry. If you look at World 2018, the biggest League of Legends tournament of the year, in 2018 alone, there was 200 million people watching the final all at once. With numbers like these, I feel like it's stupid for other media sources to just, forget about esports and push it out the way. I feel that TV and newspapers and things like this should embrace esports. It would help both industries grow. Obviously, these numbers are taken from, two of the biggest esports games going, and it's not numbers that any random game can pick up, but it's something. These games are 10, 11 years old. They're still growing, and so is the community. To me, it's really nice seeing these games, these esports that have put all this hard work in, all these players that put all this hard work and finally paying off and showing these numbers. And I think that it's only the beginning. I feel that esports has got a long way to go. It's still in its infancy, but I really believe in it, and I think it's something that could be really, really big if the right precautions and the right moves are made by these esports teams. I think it's definitely the beginning, and it's something that will continue to grow as long as the hard work is put in. There was a report written in late 2017 by Esports Observer stating that Lee Faker Sang-hyuk, one of the greatest players to ever grace League of Legends, trains 12 to 15 hours a day. I understand that this is an extreme case and, maybe isn't a good example for every esports player. However, Faker is probably considered one of the best players in all of League of Legends esports. So I feel that this is a perfect example as to show the dedication and the effort required to become the best in an esport. So for anyone that says that being an esports player or being a competitive gamer in general is just playing a video game, I think you need to take another look at this. I think it's a lot more dedication than people seem to think. When was the last time you spent 12 hours doing anything other than work, obviously, but and then the next day wanted to go back and do it again just to improve, just to be the best that you can be? I don't think anyone, I know I haven't spent 12 hours doing anything and then wanted to go do it again the next day. It just doesn't happen. This isn't the only thing. There have previously been reports that some Korean esports teams won't even allow you to have a girlfriend. You're stuck on a set regime where you practice, you go to the gym, you eat, practice some more, you get some sleep, and you get up the next day and you do it all again. Obviously it's not as strict as this, and some of these things are just rumours, but really it wouldn't surprise me hearing about Faker who trains 12 hours a day, sometimes more. It really wouldn't surprise me if these sort of rules by these teams were put into place. Obviously these things don't speak for every esports team, and like I said, these things might not even be true, but as a whole, esports is something that requires a whole lot of time, a whole lot of dedication, a whole lot of effort. It's not something that can happen overnight, not even within a year. Sometimes people will play a game their entire life and never even get there. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that everyone can do, and I think a lot of it does come down to luck. Being seen by the right person at the right time, or being in the same match as another pro player, sometimes that can be all it takes to give you the edge. A lot of it is just down to luck. Some Dota pros have clocked upwards of 8,000 hours in game on their main accounts. That works out at roughly 330 days. That's nearly an entire year spent playing a game. If these players are 24, say, average age, and they're playing a year, that's a lot of their life that they've spent playing this game. So I think the main point here that I'm trying to make is that if you're someone that's aiming to try and be a pro at a game or get into the esports community or become a pro player, you need to be able to dedicate that time to make sacrifices and really dedicate your life to the craft of being a gamer. And to be at the top, it's going to take hours, days, months, years. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. However, if you do take the time and become a master of your craft and become the best in the world at a game, you can reap the rewards from it. Esports teams and organisations will pay thousands to these players. Tournament winnings. There's a lot of money in esports, and obviously if you're putting the time in, it's definitely worth it. So how much money can you actually earn as an esports player? Now, depending on the game, the organisation and the team that you're playing for, an esports player can earn anything from $1,000 a month to $15,000 a month. Now, that's not including any prize wins or tournament prizes or anything like that. That is solely just salary, what these players are getting paid wage-wise. As for prize pools and tournament, they can range anything from $10,000 all the way up to Dota 2's TI, which was 31 million this year. Now, one of the most amazing things about Dota 2's TI's prize pot is that it's all community funded, meaning that all $31 million of that prize pot was raised through skins and microtransactions in Dota 2. One thing that I love about the system is that it kind of works both ways. So the more the community gives, the more they get back. The more money they put in, the better a tournament it's going to be. It's a really rewarding system, I think, and one that works very well for Dota. I think something like that could maybe be implemented into other games such as League or CSGO. It really depends on how the community takes to it though. Overall, I understand that this entire video was quite biased. I'm a huge esports fan and it's something I'm very passionate about, obviously. However, I still feel that esports isn't brought up enough in general. I feel like it's still in its infant stages, and to get it out of that infancy we need to just raise awareness to it and make people more aware that it is a real thing and that it's something big and that it can be really, really huge. And that's all this really was, just an attempt to bring more attention to esports. Thank you very much for watching.